Requesting all participants to join us on stage for a group picture along with our judges. I'd like to request Curtin by team members and volunteers to join in on the picture as well, please. Students, please feel free to lean forward, except the space where the judges are going, so you're not hidden. Just to the side, you can lean just a little after the judges, so your faces are not hidden. Requesting Curtin University by team members and volunteers to also please join the group photograph. Is everyone ready? Okay. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to count to 10. Let's see how quickly you'll settle down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. You guys are amazing. Okay. Now stay right there. Now on the count of 3, scream BCC. On the count of 3, scream BCC. 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Now I know you guys have saved your voices for the presentation, but I think you can go a little louder than that. One last time. On the count of 3, BCC. Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, everyone. Students, please do not play with the mics. Please maintain the decorum. Students that were on stage, one of you has lost some money. If you are that person that has lost some money, please reach out to one of our volunteers and we'll see with you. Okay, thank you. The first five finalists are requested to be seated at the front of the room with these seats. If you are one of the top five teams, once again I repeat, please be seated towards the so that volunteers can guide and assist you. Thank you. Students, please be seated. Thank you, everyone. I would now like to invite Mr. Dan Atkins, CEO of the Transnational Academic Group and head of the judging panel, to please announce the finalists.
So it's been a very interesting competition. I want to congratulate all of the teams who did elevator pitches. We heard some really creative ideas. I know as all of you were listening, you were probably thinking, wow, that's interesting. So many different approaches to solving just one of the SDGs. So I thank you all for all of the effort that you put into doing that. So every year we announce the topic for next year so that you can be ready for it and start thinking about it. So we're going to go ahead and do that now before we list out the winners of the elevator pitch round. So for next year, the topic will be nanotechnology. So I hope you can all look forward to competing on that topic next year. Okay, so with that, just to reiterate the 5 teams that had already made it into the finals, we have team FEPS, Hal Wainers from Far Eastern Private School, Ruth Healers from Dubai National School, Baltimore, the Economic Problem from Al Salon Community School, Climate Patrols from Arab Unity School, and Low Vanguards from the Indian High School Dubai. So now, the top 5 teams out of the elevator pitch who will go on to the finals, and in no particular order: SDG Oryxes, American International School; Green Sustainability, International School of Creative Science; Mission Possible, Dubai International Academy in Marseilles; Green Washers, James Wellington, Silicon Oasis; and ACES, James English High School. So congratulations to those teams. I hope you come ready to compete. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start the final round. Good luck to all of you. Okay, so if I can have everyone's attention, we'll quickly go over the rules again just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So for the final case, you have 10 minutes, which will be timed. The timer will start at the first word that's said and will run all the way through. Anything you say after the timer goes off, we can't count. During your presentation, You can have one person, two people, your whole team present. You can use any prompts that you want to. You can present in any form that you want to, even if it's just a video and nobody from your team is talking. That's all fine. You are allowed to bring anything you need on stage, note cards, papers, your phones, tablets, whatever you need to read your presentation. So with that, I wish you all the best, and I ask everyone to be very respectful and listen carefully to the teams so that you can compete even better in next year's competition. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stan. I would now like to request the first 5 teams in the order of announcement to be ready for the presentation and request the new finalists to keep your UFPs ready. You may bring them up to the stage and connect them to the laptop. The volunteers available will be there to support you when it's your turn. Students, kindly be seated. In the meanwhile, if you could have team 1 get ready with your presentation. Team FEPS PFL winners from Far Eastern Private School, requesting if you can please be ready with your presentation. Mic check, 1, 2, mic check.
This is first year. One of the 5 teams didn't actually get one. So they were sitting on the first 5 teams.
Poor thing, that's bad. I would be crying. Yeah.
Audience, please be seated. We will be commencing now.
No, in case. One and a half hours. Yeah. 1.5 hours. 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
Requesting the audience to please be seated and to maintain silence as our first team is about to present. Presenting the first solution of the BCC 2022 Grand Finale is Team FEPS Halvenas.
Everyone, we are Team Kapsawan is here to present our case study 4. So, before I explain our concept, here are some related facts about our idea. So, 10 to 12% of emissions are from agriculture. Livestock meat production takes up around 15 to 20% of all human emission activities. Around 60% of all food production is for meat. Fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals used in farming contributes to emissions, which is from wash process. So these both will lead to climate change, which is also one of the biggest contributors to animal extinction. Farms also produce food waste equivalent to 15.3% of food produced globally, while 40% of water in farms are wasted due to improper techniques. There are many present and possible solutions to reducing carbon emissions in agriculture and horticulture. So why don't farms use better techniques? There are 4 main problems. Lack of funds, which is the initial cost of it being very high, the lack of knowledge, they don't really know how to progress in transition into better methods, or the lack of space. Modern technology are huge and take up quite a lot of space. Worry for their better yields, they don't want to risk further deterioration in revenue due to error. Creating better and more sustainable farms is a must for the future of humanity, as food is a basic necessity. Introducing more efficient ways of crop growing will lead to overall better yields. Implementing these farming techniques will assure better environmentally friendly results for the planet. So the concepts in our idea or the components is basically hydroponics, which is growing plants in water and not soil. AD or anaerobic digestion, which is turning food waste into energy. Nanotech water cleaning system, which uses nanotechnology energy to clean water, and other methods for better agricultural farming, such as rotational pasturing, silviculture, monocultural farms, and crop variety.
So in front of you, we have a rough illustration of our substations. As said before, these will incorporate rotational grazing, aquaponics, and the process of anaerobic digestion. In figure 1, we have an example of a solo substation. The rotational silviculture pastures in the perimeter of our square, anaerobic digester in the middle, and our efficient nanotech aquaponic systems in the middle. In figure 2, we have a quadrant that represents a single part of 4 plots together, which is figure 3. These plots combine allow 2 groups of livestock to simultaneously graze together, following the numbers as shown in our illustration, allowing for bigger yields for gardening. Next, figure 4 is what we've determined to be a much more efficient layout, utilizing nature's most space-efficient shape, the hexagon. The anaerobic digester is situated in the middle again with the rotation of silviculture grazing fields in the perimeters, allowing the 2 groups of livestock to simultaneously graze, and the aquaponic systems in the middle. Our substation parts will complement each other, benefiting yields and ultimately income.
So now that you've seen the design, why these processes? So the main points is that hydroponics saves space. It gives better and faster yield, helps save topsoil because we don't use it to plant. Access digestate can help replenish topsoil around the world, which is a sustainable method. Hydroponics support the planting of various crops, increasing crop variety and mineral balance, and promotes a greener diet for humans. Nanotech saves water consumption, and aquaponics can reduce overfishing, saving wild populations of fish. Pastures in silviculture prevent the immense gas emissions from livestock. Pastures can serve as habitat for animals, saving biodiversity. Silviculture can help improve overall meat quality due to animal satisfaction. Rotational grazing can help reduce the impact of topsoil degradation, reduces the need to fertilize servers, effect of the topsoil degradation. Topsoil is kept fertile for potential reforestation and wildlife. AD creates clean energy for the farm, and other byproducts of anaerobic digestion can be used for fertilizing forests and the seabed for animal life. So, they all blend together and synergize into better systems overall. Waste from fish and nanotech as essential ingredients to hydroponic water columns. Plants help water from fish, preventing problems such as the disease. Nanotech cleaning technologies help maintain the proper water makeup for the hydroponics aquaculture. Waste from animals and plants can be used for anaerobic digestion, which produces biogas, which can be used to supply energy for the farm, which is hydroponics' main issue. The digestives from AD can be used to fertilize crops and regenerate the topsoil, and silviculture sequestrates excess carbon from the AD. Hence, this idea helps multiple SDGs and provide a greener and better agricultural industry for the world.
Basically, our products are raw, and our main customers are companies who will be needing bulks of inventories to make their own food out of the products brought from Cargill. For instance, carbon dioxide will be used by companies which are bought from Cargill to to create fresh meat and fresh produce to make their products last longer. Cargill is technically a company or manufacturer that processes beef and products to food makers with their distribution services. The numbers shown are based from Cargill's annual statement of comprehensive income report of 2022, and we base it from there as they have revealed in public. Investment income and the annual revenue from gross sales will be reinvested back to the company according to Cargill's fiscal year 2020 annual report, Nourishing the Planet. Next. Net purchases will be products such as CO2 and digestate and etc. Selling and distribution expenses will be how the effective end products will be promoted and sold. General and administrative expenses are everyday operation costs that allows the business or company to run properly. The G&A expenses shows the subsets of the company's operating expense, but they exclude the selling costs. And the land expecting to be used will be approximately 70,000 to 82,000 acres for the technique to be used alone, which explains the estimated property plant equipment cost. This idea can assist in increasing labor by making people help the company produce more products in a reasonable amount of time and sell them for a reasonable price. As it goes on, raw products can go to most food making companies and make it their go-to inventory supplier, thus expanding Cargill's branches for an innovative outcome.
How can it save or earn money? Firstly, the initial cost is high, but possesses high return in the long term. In 2017, around 15.6% of farm expenses are for energy. Use of anaerobic digestion can use a big amount of waste from farms to pay for itself. The excess biogas generated from it can also be sold. There will be no further expense from buying new soil. 2/3 or 71% of all fresh water is used for agricultural purposes. Nanotype water technologies help save water consumption by reusing dirty water. Better and faster yields of crops make better revenue as well as higher quality of meat from beef. It can be a source of fish and seafood, which can also be sold. And lastly, a drastically reduced expense used for fertilizers and insecticides.
And now for the pastel analysis. Politically, there is political unrest between political bodies and farmers in relation to ethical treatment and economic consequences. This is a concern for all countries in the world, but especially for third world ones like the Philippines. To solve this issue, the politics should support the farming, which entails that laws need to be written, or if already existing, need to be implemented. Additionally, politicians may want to affiliate with this proposal to A, boost reputation in public perception, and B, have a role in solving issues of sustainability. Economically, the proposal is cost effective. While initially the costs for production and maintenance are high and expensive, the profits and income are accumulatively beneficial in the long run. A concern arises, though, in that since it is at the beginning expensive, only big and prestigious companies will be able to implement the proposal. A proposed or tentative solution is that the government can supply loans. Since the proposal makes use of labor and manpower, employment rates will increase. Socially, there is a number of people with a shared perception that climate change is normal and is not an issue to be addressed. However, as recognized by the World Health Organization and the United Nations, the drastic increases in temperature of recent years compared to those decades and centuries ago present an issue. Since again, our solution requires labor for this proposal, and relevance of this issue clearly needs to be communicated in order to make this successful. In addition, politicians, according to the earlier issue, should support the farming. Another issue is that Cargill has previously suffered backlash for not being environmentally stable. Therefore, there is social pressure on them to be more economically friendly. Since it is an issue of sustainability, this solution benefits everyone, regardless of race, creed, culture, gender, and ethnicity. Now, technologically, the solution requires technology to function. For all the processes involved, the concepts use soil fertility and preservation, growability and feasibility, and breakdown and organic conversion. Technology is crucial to our lives today, and we should use that to solve issues of sustainability. And our solution makes use of that. Environmentally, anaerobic farming uses organic recycling and contributes to the lowering of pollution. Regenerative agriculture strengthens soil, and hydroponics is efficient and resourceful in terms of land and water space. All of this is good for issues of sustainability, such as climate change and pollution. Therefore, this proposal is environmentally beneficial. Legally, all laws, rules, and regulations will be followed. All legal requirements and processes will be undergone. To restate our earlier issue with the politics and farmers, ethical procedures and working conditions must be properly enforced to ensure that this proposal is enforced accurately and successfully. Thank you so much. We are Team Fem Salwaders!
Thank you, Team FPPS Halinas. Our next team for today is Team Earth Healers from Binational School. Team, please get ready with your coming on stage. Judges, our next team for today is Team Earth Healers from Dubai National School, Al-Tawar.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're Earth Healers. We're so honored to be here today to discuss our final case study. Here are the points we'll be discussing next. The Sustainable Goals 13, 14, and 15 talk about climate and creatures that live below water and on land that are affected by one thing called pollution. Pollution is the presence of dangerous elements throughout the environment. Indonesia is one of the countries that suffer mostly from pollution as it is affected by the three aspects mentioned at the start. Let's discuss this issue further on with my colleagues.
Pollution harms the environment, especially living things. The two main types of pollution that we'll be focusing on are air and water pollution. Pollution can be the high concentration of certain gases in the air, such as CO2. CO2 is an element that's always present in the atmosphere, but if its concentration increases, it can cause the temperature of the earth to increase, because it's a type of greenhouse gases, leading to global warming, which is a type of climate change. Another example of pollution is the high concentration of certain chemicals in water bodies, such as iron oxide. High concentration of iron oxide in water bodies harms aquatic life by leading to the death of a number of creatures. Also, animals that use this water body as a resource of water might die due to the damage that occurred in this resource. Accordingly, wildlife is affected as well.
The climate, life in water and land are all affected by pollution, especially by the ways of pollution mentioned above. Indonesia is one of the leading countries in the mining sector. Mining produces and emits a lot of CO2, which makes sense why Indonesia is one of the highest emitting CO2 countries. Another impact of the existence of mines is the frequent leakage of iron oxide in water bodies like rivers and lakes that are in forests that are commonly found in Indonesia. Let's now discuss about the impacts of having an unstable climate and high rates of loss in aquatic and land animals from several perspectives of Indonesia.
The political impact. Indonesia had rights as a result of the high Indonesia had rights as a result of the increased rates of pollution due to high emissions of CO2 in the air that leads to high temperatures. Another reason for rise in Indonesia is that it's quite a lot of aquatic and wildlife animals, which are a huge diet for the Indonesian nation, leading to lack of food shortages.
The economic impact. Pollution affects the people, the health of people, and causes numerous health issues. Thus, people aren't able to work. Furthermore, due to pollution, aquatic and land animals would perish, and causing the price of in a food shortage and causing the price of animals goods to rise and fluctuate in the country. Indonesia's economy suffers as a result.
Social impacts. High temperatures trigger people by making them more angry or frustrated. Feasts will be held less often due to the main meal, which is the main component of animal meat, that no longer being available at hand. Communities, societies, and people's relationships won't be as united and as close as they used to be in Indonesia.
Technological impact. Indonesia follows the major technologies that reduce the effect of pollution. The major technologies that utilize is raising awareness, which is ineffective because no actual action is made.
Moving on to the environmental impact. Pollution is dangerously spreading in Indonesia, which makes it uninhabitable. The constant death of animals makes the environment appear atrocious. Because aquatic animals are a big part of many animals' diets, their death has impacted the entire ecosystem. Animals are dying, making the economy bland and lacking diverse species. Lastly, the legal impact. Because of tough regulations and laws related to establishing a new plan in the country, Indonesia isn't solving this issue.
Let's talk now about the chosen company to solve the issue presented. The company we chose is Curtin, which is a Norwegian company launched in 1920s. We chose this company because of its priority, to create a new technology that solves global issues and produce new type of paints. They also take into consideration of producing anything that has the least environmental damage.
Now it's time to present our proposal. So the proposal we have for Jotun will help minimize climate change and save the aquatic and land life. Our recommendation is most likely to be applied to Indonesia due to the existence of iron oxide in water bodies and high CO2 emission, which could potentially lead to harms in climate and all animals.
Jotun will visit Indonesia and establish a factory of paints. The factory will have a system of pipes that are connected to water bodies that are found in forests near mines because they contain a high concentration of iron oxide. The pipes will extract the iron oxide from water bodies and transfer it to the facility, and then it will be cleaned from impurities. At the same time, iron oxide is a major component of paints, so Jotun will use it to create paint. At the same time, these paints will be lime-based, since lime-based paints are known to absorb CO2 from air when used on buildings and walls. Then Jotun will sell these paints in the Indonesian markets.
Setting up a quota in Indonesia will benefit the country in ways. First, due to the reduction of CO2, the temperature will decrease and it will reduce climate change. Second, aquatic life will be preserved because toxins are removed from water bodies. Third, animals and wildlife have a clean source of water to consume, leading to the reduction of death rates. And finally, more jobs will be available in Indonesia. The idea presented will achieve CTG 13, 14, and 15. The primary barrier to these goals is pollution. In order to accomplish these goals as effectively as possible, our solution will remove this barrier by creating a new innovative product. Moving on to financial part, after investigating, we found that Jotun's profit for 2021 was around $300 million. Then we proceeded to calculate how much more will our idea add to its annual profit. As you can see, here's the sheet of assumptions for the financial analysis with respect to revenues. So Jotun will get the revenues from selling the vein products they produce to people in Indonesia. A bucket will cost $30. And the first year, the factory will produce 100,000 buckets, leaving Jotun with a revenue of $3 million. Furthermore, in the future, the revenues will increase as production gets advanced, leading to a greater production of paints, plus more revenues for Jotun. Next, we have the expenses sheet. So the first expense is building the paint factory. The second expense is the system of pipes. The third expense is salaries, since the factory would have 70 workers, where the total annual salary would be $252,000. The fourth expense is operating, such as electricity, and lastly, we have materials like metal. The total of expenses would be $447,000. Jotun will reach the break-even point after 2 months of production. After finding the net income, which is by subtracting expenses from the revenues, we found out that Jotun will have an extra profit annually, or in the first year mainly, of $2,553,000, and it will increase in the future.
The last part of the financial analysis is cost saving. The cost saving is in two aspects. First, searching and transporting. Jotun will save money on the process of digging for iron oxide than transporting it from far away places. Instead, they would have the iron oxide before their eyes, and it would be transported through the pipe system they built. The second aspect is salary. The factory would have 70 workers, and their total annually salary will be less than the workers from outside Indonesia. In total, Curtin will save $1,708,000.
Last but not least, let's talk about the analysis. The political impact. Thanks to the formation of our initiative, which helps in resolving all three issues that contribute to Indonesia's numerous conflicts, people no longer will protest for better climate change or the preservation of aquatic and land animals.
Next is the economic impact. People's health issues would decrease, and therefore they will attend their work regularly. Enough supply of animals will be presented. Hence, prices are stable. Economic growth will take place in Indonesia.
The social impact for our solution is that people in Indonesia tend to be more relaxed, and people can gather more often now since there are more meals to eat daily.
Technological impact. Indonesia would be the first nation to use the groundbreaking paint technology, which is intended to reduce pollution by absorbing CO2. At the same time, iron oxide, which pollutes rivers and affects both aquatic and plant species, is present. However, is deployed in a way that changes from a source of pollution to the start of the show.
Environmental impact. After the implementation of our project, Indonesia will no longer have high rates of pollution, which makes it practical. Indonesia will also have myriad kinds of different species of animals, as well as an eye-catching landscapes.
And lastly, the legal impact.
Establishing a scheme is challenging due to the harsh laws of solving anything new in the country, whether it was a business or a governmental action. To sum up, our aim is to reduce pollution in order to help climate and to preserve aquatic and land life animals. In Indonesia and globally, we hope that Curtin will consider our proposal. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Our next team for today that will be presenting the solution is the economic problem from Al Salam Community School, Dubai. Team, please proceed to the stage with your USP.
Yeah. أنا أحب أصير البيت وبطيق تابعهم.
Judges, presenting our next team for today, the economic problem from Al Salam Community School, Dubai.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. As Ms. just announced, we're the economic problem from Al Salam Community School. And without further ado, I'll hand you over to Aya to look at our introduction.
As we all know, we're here to address SDG 13, 14, and 15, which refers to climate action, life below water, and life on land. So we thought it was best to address the pollution issue in Iran. We chose Iran because it's a self-sufficient country, and all the businesses in Iran only operate in Iran. So it makes sense for them to reinvest into the social and economic status of the country. Pollution is a really big issue in Iran, as 35,000 people die because of the state of the air. It is really polluted. And 80% of the pollution comes from vehicles. So we wanted to address this in a way that helps improve this issue.
Imagine is one of the second biggest operating businesses in Iran. As well as that, they have an aspiration to open up to explore other markets.
So our main proposition is based on turning waste CO2 into methanol. Methanol is a major component in power generation, biodegradable plastics, and even food. So basically, it's a chemical process that takes water and uses a process known as electrolysis to break it down into hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions. These ions of hydrogen are then reacted with CO2, which produces methanol. This methanol produced is completely a renewable fuel and can be used by any process that is required. CO2, this reaction with CO2 is very important as the CO2 levels have been increasing by 45% since the Industrial Revolution. And through this process, we were able to get rid of waste CO2 and benefit the environment. We propose the construction of the facility in the Hormuz province in Bangladesh. It has cheaper land costs, easy access to water, and the facility is away from major industrial areas and has a proximity to the airport. The financial plan is quite simple. It's clear, realistic, and efficient for Imidro to operate in. Imidro has a profit of $1.1 billion. For this reason, we believe they are able to fund the expensive product development this is, as well as the fact that Imidro is a mining company, which means it is important for them to show that they are benefiting the environment in some way to improve their reputation. CO2 is converted into methanol, but the facility that we have created is based on an existing CRI facility in China that ended up costing them $90 million. However, due to the higher land costs in Iran from 966.19 per square meter to the Chinese 110 to the Chinese 477, and on top of that, the more expensive labor that is found in Iran, our total approximate cost would be USD 110 million. On top of this, they have to get water. Since the water is being electrolyzed, it will be the operating costs along with wages. Water in Iran costs 1.5 liters is for $0.4. And since methanol is made up of 1/6 of water, we would be getting 18,000 tons of water. This would lead to a 14 million cost of water. On top of that, wages would then equate to 20 million. So there will be produced 110,000 tons of methanol. 60,000 of this methanol is put into power generation. Since methanol is a clean fuel, it won't affect the environment. And since each ton is $400, we would get a total revenue of 24 million. This already breaks even with the costs and would also equate a profit of 4 million, while the remaining 50,000 tons out of the 110,000 produced are put into plastic production. With plastic costing per ton $373, this would equate to a revenue of 18.6 million, resulting in a total profit of over 40 million. And this would already be generating a profit. They would recover the development costs within 3 years, and within 6 years, we'll see a profit of 100 million, making this a financially benefit proposition. Bangladesh is the location that we chose, as we've mentioned, due to its greater location being a rural province, so away from major industrial hubs, as well as the fact that it's near an airport where they can easily import supplies.
Right, so there are many benefits to opening this recycling power plant in Iran. So we can break them down into two aspects. One, benefits to the business, and the other, benefits to the environment. So internally, the Imidro group can enforce more and more working in an opportunity to increase green efficiency savings. So they'll cut down on transportation costs, and not only that, they will also reduce their carbon footprint. And this would create strong corporate environmental performance, and their employees that look at these social values, it might increase employee retention, so they won't leave the company. And talent attraction. People aim to work in companies that fit within their own values and beliefs. Other than that, Imidro Group can tackle international competitions. Moreover, there are many job opportunities for labor in Iran to work, so it would overall benefit the economy and provide economic growth. In the long term, the methanol produced can be stored for a long time, and it can be moved long distances without losing energy, therefore fewer costs. Other than that, we have benefits to the environment. So the methanol can be easy to transport. They reduce the frequent of heavy rains and floodings, which benefits the farmers, and they reduce carbon emissions by 90%. And there's less need of extracting oil, which reduces deforestation as well.
Okay, now for the pestle analysis. So firstly, if we look at the political issue. So as we're all aware, in Iran right now, there's a nationwide revolution taking place where the people are fighting back against the government for the mandatory use of the hijab, which is Islamic covering for women. Now the issue with this too, IMIDRO, is that the government might deem our idea as somewhat of a distraction from the overall issue going on. The solution we have proposed, however, is for IMIDRO to emphasize the importance of the idea to the people of Iran. As I have previously mentioned, Iran is a self-sufficient country where all businesses in Iran act in support for the Iranian people. Therefore, by IMIDRO emphasizing this, they would be likely to get government approval. And adding on to this, they could not take any stance politically to ensure that they please everyone, both the government and the people. If we look at the economical issue, IMIDRO may face the fact that inflation is taking place in Iran on a major scale, which would increase the costs of their resources. However, the solution for this is, because IMIDRO is a billion-dollar corporation and one of the largest businesses in Iran, they could emphasize their status as a business and take advantage of things like bargaining power and exploiting economies of scale, the relations they have in terms of suppliers, to reduce the cost of their overall resources. Now, the social issue is that obviously a recycling plant would take up space. This can be an obvious social disruption because realistically nobody wants to wake up and look at a recycling plant right next to their house. So our solution, as we earlier mentioned, we selected the province of Bandar-e Gashe, which is essentially in the rural areas of Iran. So it would save land, it's cheaper land, it has access to water, and it's away from society, which means that it wouldn't be a distraction to everyone. So it can serve all our purposes without causing any social disruption. Technological. So the technological issue is that the resources that IMIDRO would need for electrolyzing, synthesis, and distillation, they're realistically not widespreadly available in Iran, so they would have to be imported. The issue with that is imports have high tariffs. So to save on these costs, what IMIDRO can do is to emphasize to the government of Iran that the idea is in support of the Iranian people and the Iranian government overall to try and reduce the tariff costs. Lastly, environmental. The main issue is that the construction of the plant itself would have somewhat of a significant impact on the environment, given the amount of energy that goes into it, and the vehicles used for things like transportation, which release carbon dioxide emissions. A proposed solution is for IMIDRO to build trees around the plant to counteract this, which basically take up the carbon dioxide produced and emit oxygen instead. But also, the plant overall, once it's been developed, once it's fully functioning, it's going to bring up enough change to counteract any environmental costs that it's had in the past. Now, finally, in conclusion, we believe that our proposed idea provides the ideal solution to counteract SDGs 13, 14, and 15. And we believe IMIDRO to be the perfect company because our solution fits into their ethos and will give them a great legacy to leave behind. Thank you.
Economic problem. Our next team for today is Planet Patrol. Team, please proceed to the stage with your USB to get ready. Before we proceed, team, I have a few small announcements to make. The first of which is there was a missing currency note that was found downstairs. So if any of you have lost any money, please reach out to our volunteers and they can help verify if it's yours. The second announcement is we have been informed that a student has lost their AirPods, a black case of AirPods. So if you happen to find any around your seat or around you, please hand it over to the nearest volunteer. Before we continue, students, please continue to maintain silence. The disturbance is getting a bit distracting for the presenters and the judges as well. Keep in mind that you need to maintain silence just the same way you'd like if you were presenting. So thank you so much for your understanding and all the best.
We are Team Planet Patrol, and we would like to present to you our project, Oil Patrol. We will be tackling ecological issues from the perspective of a China-based company, PetroChina. This company uses renewable sources of energy and develops innovations that emit low carbon. We are going to be venturing a project with King Clean that emphasizes on upgrading its technology, innovations, and a strict quality system, which will provide assurance and security for the projects that we will be executing with the company as a joint venture. The energy consumption of its motors installed in appliances like vacuums is reduced to 320 kilowatts per hour. Spreading awareness is a huge part of a movement's success. We cannot initiate action if you do not know the root of the problem. Therefore, we will reach out to climate activists who will aid the environment as they do through social media platforms, displaying hashtag activism, and deliver speeches that will inspire action. By being rightfully informed on what we are dealing with, we subconsciously do our part, even in the simplest of ways. We are going to collaborate with schools to initiate educational futures to watch a movie on climate change, such as Before the Flood, in an indoor cinema, which will be purchased for 3 million dirhams, and we will be powering it with solar panels. The indoor cinema will have 20 rooms facilitating 150 students in each. Hence, 3,000 students can watch at a time, paying a fee of 10 dirhams. On an average, 2,000 students will attend on a daily basis. Expected revenue will be 7.2 million dirhams in the first year. The finance raised will be used to fund projects to protect life on land and water caused by oil transportation and production. We will be carrying out our project, Oil Patrol, with King Clean as a joint venture. To protect life on water, the aim is to produce newly designed vacuums, which each cost 20,000 dirhams, including cost of installing, raw materials, and wages. These vacuums will be attached to ships from the side and operated by solar panels. We will be developing 75 vacuums monthly in a rented factory and selling it for 30,000 dirhams to different oil companies. The USP is that our vacuums will contain visual sensors to differentiate between oil and water. And the plus point is that oil floats on water, since it has a low density, so it will be easy to filter the oil out. The accumulated oil will be stored in oil barrels. We will then use the oil to carry out a process called transesterification. It converts oil to biodiesel, which can further be used in developing energy-efficient engines, improving air quality.
Here's a diagram to illustrate the structure of our vacuums. We know that oil leaks from the front end of the ships as the tankers are located there. The sensors that are installed will know about these oil leaks and will tell the vacuum to start. It will also notify the workers on board about this leak. The vacuum will be powered by solar panels that store enough energy for the vacuum to run for 2 hours, which is sufficient time for the crew members to fix the leak on board. The dimensions of the vacuum is that it is 50 centimeter in height, 200 centimeter in width, and 100 centimeter in length. There's also a mesh in front of this vacuum to prevent any objects from being sucked in. The vacuum also operates at 10 km per hour and sucks in 3 liters of oil per minute. Now this will prevent any objects from interfering with the mesh. Now after the vacuum absorbs this oil, it goes through a filter where it is differentiated from oil and water. The water is thrown back and the oil is stored in separate tanks located at the back end of the ship. When oil is extracted and transported, there's a high chance of leakage.
Thus, to prevent oil from running off the surface in water bodies, we'll be building canals around the production sites, allowing the oil to flow into these canals. The oil will then be accumulated and moved to an area where it will be later purified and sold. The cost of building such canals will come out to $750,000. Now here's how our project and ideas will contribute to tackle climate change and protect life on land and water. Now, as biodiesel will be produced through transesterification, we'll be using it to develop energy-efficient engines, minimizing the risk to environment in case of spills, and it will also be less costly to clean up. This will also safeguard the aquatic environment as biodiesel releases less pollutants. And using vacuums to reduce oil spillage in these oceans, we'll be making a way to make more breeding grounds in natural eddies. The food sources for fishes will be safer to consume, and with the help of these canals on land, contaminations will not only make it safer for humans to drink and cook, but will also help in catalyzing the growth of animals and plants. For the vacuum cost, we have a cost of production that gives us a total of 20,000 dirhams. Now, in the second year, it will be reduced to 17,000 as the raw materials will be reduced by 2,000. As we'll be benefiting from purchase economies of scale, we're also benefiting from internal economies of scale as there is a reduction of 1,000 in overheads. We have two sources of revenues coming from sale of vacuums and sale of cinema tickets. The cost of production has decreased between the first and the second year due to us benefiting from various economies of scale. We're expecting 50 of our 900 units to remain unsold at the end of the year, leading to a closing inventory of 1 million. But in the second year, we'll be able to sell 5 less units. But as the cost of production is less, it will reduce the closing inventory by 65,000 and increase the gross profit by 1.8 million. Now, in the first year, we have expenses such as solar panels, which will power the cinemas. These values are calculated by the amount of power required in the cinema. We have the same rent of factory for both years. We will produce vacuums in collaboration with King. The cost of building the canals will also remain the same as we continue to build more canals in other oil production sites. There's also a cost of paying these activists, which will promote our cinema and guarantee us cinema views. Thus, this will lead us to a profit of 8,900,025 in the first year, but in the second year, our cost will decrease, which will lead us to a profit of 11,830,000. Now, our calculations suggest that we reach a break-even point after just selling 56 units, which will in the next year be reduced to 47 due to the economies of scale, since we buy in bulk and receive discount on raw material.
I'm here to present the pestle analysis of our project Oil Patrol, starting with the political aspect. Our project Oil Patrol is based in China, and in recent years, China has introduced multiple policies that will simplify trade inspections, taxes, and many other procedures that will make our products more competitive abroad and will be a cause of growth in GDP. China is also a comprehensively strict country when it comes to rules and regulations, so following the labor contract law will be necessary. This will mean that workers have a right to social security, including pensions, unemployment benefits, and no more than an 8-hour working day with fixed overtime, which is likely to increase the cost of our project. Moving on to economic growth. As we all know, China faced rapid economic growth starting from 1978, and this growth has opened many unknown markets for entrepreneurs all over the globe. And this, of course, provides a greater benefit for the people of China in the form of its improving infrastructure, also leading to lower costs for businesses currently operating in the country. In recent years, China's ever-growing population proves to be too much burden on its limited resources, leading to the introduction of the one-child policy, which has shifted the population to an age in one that has greater needs for transportation, increasing the benefit for oil companies such as ours. The growing economy also means greater consumer spending, which can lead to inflation, leading to higher costs for businesses. Biodiesel is produced in refineries of China, thus it will eliminate the necessity to import expensive products from other countries. In the social aspect of our project analysis, the after effects of the one-child policy is evident, as women's interests have shifted towards their careers, creating a larger labor force and economic growth in present times. Due to COVID-19, the lifestyle patterns of people have changed, and people are choosing to put luxury goods on the back burner to focus on the intangible. The companies that we have selected are Chinese-owned, so there's likely to be no to less cultural barrier, which is a great benefit for our project and its success. Technology is an aspect of the pestle analysis that changes constantly, but only changes for the better, leading to greater sustainable and cost-reducing practices. China is also developing measures to encourage its population to focus on technological advancements to aid
Thank you, team. Our next team for today is Levangard from the Indian High School, Dubai. Team, please proceed to the stage with your USB.
Okay, just no April, but you're still on spot, right? Yeah. Okay, so just just repeat all that.
Judges, we have our next team ready. Our next team for today is Levangard from the Indian High School, Dubai. All the best.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. We are Team Levangard from the Indian High School, Dubai, and this is our business pitch. We have chosen Tesla as our host company. As we all know, Tesla is one of the leading manufacturers of sustainable vehicles. EVs are made of solar roof tiles, panels, and home grids. Tesla's mission is to create a world powered by solar energy and electrically operated vehicles to ensure that the world is a sustainable place. With sustainability being the key to our future, reduction in plastic waste and the need for clean energy alternatives has been on the rise. This is why we pitched a two-part plan in which we'll first collect recyclable waste from our Tesla users and our partners and then convert it to automobile parts and electricity. Here's how it will work. The plastic waste will be collected partially from partnering with NGOs such as Ocean Cleanup and from landfills. The other half of the plastic waste will be collected from the users of Tesla by a new system we plan to add to Tesla's existing app called Green Points. The smart plastic waste collection bins will be placed near Tesla's supercharging stations. They will have unique QR codes on them, which will be scanned by the users on the app, helping in authenticating each user's contribution to the waste collected. The smart bins will be able to measure the plastic waste introduced by the user automatically and will convert the same to green points, which will reflect on the user's account. The green points will need to be redeemed for discounts at the superchargers or for the car maintenance. For the second part of our plan, we will be partnering with Waste2Tricity to develop a large-scale plastic to electricity conversion plant. The electricity produced will be sold to local or national energy grids. Moreover, we'll also be using industrial-sized 3D printers and plastic melting furnaces to recycle plastic waste into automobile parts such as upholstery. This will be sold to other automobile companies at a profit and will also be used by Tesla to cut its own production costs. The scale and expandability of the project will be discussed along with the financials of this plan. The SDGs tackled in our project are Goal 7, Affordable and Clean Energy, Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities, Goal 12, Responsible Consumption and Production, Goal 13, Climate Action, Goal 14, Life Below Water, Goal 15, Life on Land, and lastly, Goal 17, Partnership for the Goals.
Coming to the benefits, the energy used in the plastic to energy conversion is the gas released by burning plastic. This makes the project self-sustainable. The app also encourages users to deposit more plastic as they get green points in return. As we all know, Tesla is a multi-billionaire company with various resources. It makes the project self-sustaining. There will also be an increase in the relation between Tesla and NGOs across the globe. Research has shown that plastic upholstery is a profitable market as it provides various benefits like lower cost rolling, weight reduction, and damage control. Coming to the feasibility, since the project is focused on a long-term basis, we are expecting profits. Even though the initial cost of setting up the project may be a bit high, but the project is effective due to the various resources available. The project is self-sustainable and tackles various SDGs as mentioned previously. We will be partnering with NGOs like Ocean Cleanup for plastic collection and Waste Utility for conversion technology. The technology results in Tesla's app enhancement and also provides the software developers out there with various ample opportunities to widen their skill set. We have divided the constraining and driving factors for each of our PESTEL analysis. Firstly, political. In political driving factors, the international governments have taken multiple steps for elimination of plastic and effectively execute and eliminate waste management. Furthermore, due to Tesla's global reach, EV has already been accepted and governed by various international agreements. In the constraining factors, we see that cobalt, like other automobile manufacturers, is used by Tesla. It is an extremely crucial component in the manufacturing of EVs and possesses supply chain risks for Tesla due to various political barriers and conflicts from countries it's mined from. Secondly, there are joint government interference by implementing tax barriers which might lead to reduction in profit. Going on to economic. In economic, the driving factors, our idea is really negligible due to Tesla's existing pool of resources. As projected, this is expected to last longer, hence, incomes will be regular. This also helps our partner NGOs to generate a regular income. Cost of production is constantly low due to usage of 3D printing. However, in the constraining factors, we see that partnerships and NGOs are extremely important in order to generate income. Initial cost of setup is not comparatively high, but still is, and thus may not be that economical, due to which it's not affordable for developing or developing countries. In the social, we see that partnership with local companies and NGOs will promote and support goodwill. Setting up plastic parks such as upholsteries will create new partnerships and increase customer base. We help in building a sustainable community and by reducing plastic and working against adverse climate change. Ultimately, pyrolysis, recycling, etc. help reducing microplastics and serves as a positive impact in human health and productivity. In the constraining factors, we see that since apart from the corporate partnerships that we are partnering with and plastic obtained from landfills, this plan targets Tesla users only, hence including only those in the higher end of the socioeconomic spectrum. This plan may be harder to implement in countries that lack Tesla's technology. Hence, we plan to implement a similar plan with smart plastic-free bins and plastic-to-energy conversion systems only, thus helping the country in its transition to clean energy.
Moving on to the technological impacts, the driving factors are as follows. Tesla's implementation of wasted recipes plastic-to-electricity technology will be a revolutionary breakthrough in transitioning towards a circular economy. The concept of green points will be integrated with the current Tesla app, eliminating the need for a separate application. The usage of 3D printers will allow us to customize automobile parts, catering towards the consumer's needs and leading us towards a higher degree of efficiency. However, our ideas include relatively newer technology, and hence it may take a little longer to be implemented globally. The minimization of potential user interface issues is being prioritized, and for the same, we'll be doing regular app maintenance checks and reaching out to the users to Tesla's customer care services. Lastly, the updation of green point counts on the user's account can face delays. Coming towards environmental, reduction in plastic waste leads to reduction in greenhouse gas emissions such as CO2 and methane, which is one of the main causes of climate change. This further helps in improving air quality and preventing various hazardous diseases which result from fossil fuel mining and usage. It minimizes land pollution, which will result in fertile land and provide us with greater agricultural yields. Also, 3D printing cuts down on carbon emissions. Although efforts are being taken to reduce the impact of plastic usage and methane emissions on the environment, there still remains a possibility of it not being eradicated entirely. Complete effects of plastic footprints also can't be eradicated. Last but not the least, legal impact. Starting off, we aren't violating any land or environmental laws of any country. The authentication process using QR codes leaves no room for malpractices on the user's end. The patents that the company holds help it acquire legal rights over its production, usage, and sale of the product. There are a few constraining points to this. The use of QR codes will still lead to a chance of system hacks and breach of user privacy. However, customer privacy will be treated with utmost priority. The problem of ownership of charging stations is still a matter of queuing in various parts of the globe.
To give you an insight on the finances of this project, we will be obtaining funds from Tesla's turnovers. Raw material will be obtained from local landfills and from the seas under our partnership with Ocean Cleanup. We can construct plastic to electricity plants with the aid of our partnership from Waste Electricity. The following financial plan shows the estimated expenses, incomes, and profits for the implementation of this idea. In countries where Tesla already has production facilities, which are Germany, China, and USA. This could later be implemented to reach a global scale by expanding the project to countries where Tesla operates. The expenses are subject to change based on taxation laws and subsidies offered by different countries. The capital cost in USD would be $4,050,000. Please take a look at the financials. The daily running cost in USD would be 8,650. Lastly, the daily income in USD would be 30,450. The daily revenue being 21,800, monthly revenue 854,000, and the annual revenue being 7,848,000. Break-even point will be achieved approximately at the beginning of the third quarter of the first year of implementation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Team Nirangas. Our next team for today are the SDG Oryxes from American International School. Team, please proceed to the stage. Judges, presenting our next team to you, SDG Oryxes from American International School. All the best.
Thank you for that. As you may have already seen in the presentation, today we'll be talking about Emirates Nature, which is the company we selected. So let's before that go to the team that the SDGs we'll be tackling today. So we'll be tackling three main SDGs. Number one is climate action, which is SDG number 13. Unfortunately, Fiji is one of the most vulnerable nations to climate change. And considering it is a small island, a small developing island, which is part of SDG 3, SDG 13.3, we hope to create a model for other small island developing nations to implement as well. Our second SDG is SDG 14, which is life below water. Fiji faces significant challenges. Fiji has beautiful pristine blue waters, but warm water causes coral bleaching, which destroys tourism, Fiji's main economic activity, which is tourism. And lastly, life on land, which is SDG 15. Fiji faces issues regarding land degradation due to increasing unsustainable tourism and pollution, as well as introduction to non-native species. So I'll move on. This is just our team that we'll be discussing today. I'm Ahmed Kusulu. I have Sarah Al-Tamimi, the Chief Technological Officer, Maryam Ahmed, our Chief Legal Officer, Rida Tijani, our Chief Social Political Officer, and Mike Ahmed, our Chief Sustainable Officer. So I'll now move the mic to Maryam, who will discuss more.
So as you may have already seen, we've chosen Emirates Nature WWF as our organization due to their aims to safeguard natural ecosystems and species and stop illegal wildlife trade. They were established in 2001, while the WWF was established in 1961, and they have since operated in more than 100 countries. Now passing it off to Ahmed.
Thank you for that. So we'll start about our funding sources. So our first funding source is sugarcane. Sugarcane is the largest agricultural product and the world's most popular crop, with an annual 1.9 tons produced in 2020. In Fiji itself, it's a 56 billion, has 56 billion now. Unfortunately, there's a negative 5% growth rate due to unsustainable farming, something we plan on solving later on. The average kilogram of sugar cane is around $0.44 but from Fiji itself, it's $1.2. So we can have an average profit margin from exporting Fijian sugarcane, 0.76. Now, WWF already has a program, which we'll later discuss on farming, called the Sugarcane Initiative, Better Sugarcane Initiative, that helps own and support sustainable sugarcane farm. We hope to plan and expand that to Fiji. Other agricultural products also play a role in the same initiative, products like pineapple and coconuts. Moving onwards, we have sustainable tourism projects. We plan on initiating sustainable tourism projects. We'll discuss a little bit more later on tourism and how that will play a role in our proposal. Lastly, with profit sharing agreements with partners, we plan on reinvesting all of our profits back into the initiative and the NGO. So we're talking about our proposed solution.
So we'll be starting off with SDG 13, which is climate action. So actually 45% of Fiji's power generation comes from wind, and wind energy is converted into electricity by wind turbines with efficiency of 20% to 40%. So as we all know, climate change is a rapidly unfolding crisis that is affecting livelihood all around the world. Fiji is actually at the highest risk of climate change. So for our solution, in collaboration with Vestas, which is the world-leading NGO wind turbine manufacturer, we plan to expand wind generation in the main islands by installing more wind farms. And since wind turbines can be produced in smaller sizes, many wind farms can be installed for smaller communities that might not have the space to. Moreover, since wind energy is actually abundant, inexpensive, and replaces fossil fuels, it will reduce toxic pollution and global warming emissions. Passing on to
in 2019, a research was conducted and has showed that 2.9 tons of plastic waste and 19.9 tons of fishing gear went to waste in ocean Fiji. It has also showed that Fiji tourists create 7 times more waste than any Fiji citizen. Passing the mic on to you.
A collaboration with the Sea Change Company can enable us to repurpose technology to deal with hazardous waste using the mobile plasma enhanced gasification technology that will work in remote areas to break down hydrocarbon structures of plastics at temperature up to 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The result is that glass that's safe for marine life can be used to restore coral reefs and build more climate resilient infrastructures and permanently eliminate plastic pollution and keep our oceans safe.
The marine ecosystem has been suffering from many harms due to specific factors like overfishing, and so SDG 14 is an exception for Fiji, but how can we solve it? We can launch a sustainable initiative with ventures with Fiji experience to create diving and snorkeling, a huge appeal in Fiji's tourism with the help of Emirates Nature Worldwide Fund. It would support Fiji's experience with developments.
So now on to SDG 15. In 2019 alone, Fiji earned from tourism over $154 million from almost 1 million tourists, which brings us to sustainable tourism. So tourists would basically be able to acquire a special badge through sustainable tourism practices, which would then allow them to receive various offers and discounts on future bookings. A badge would support eco-conscious growing trends, while would support eco-conscious growing trends worldwide while supporting Fiji's biggest economic activities. We would also charge a lower fee for the first few years in order to encourage other hotels to sign up. Now passing off to Alma.
So we're going to go with the cost analysis real quick. So first off is our local wind farm to this task. We estimate that the 2.5K pole installation would cost around 10,000 with a yearly maintenance of 1.4 thousand. And this would create 4,400 kilowatt hours as the output. So it will be around 2.6 per kilowatt hour in the first year and 0.3 afterwards with the maintenance cost. Now this would create significant return on investment of 167 when we factor in the environmental and financial savings that we would rely on these wind farms. Now, economies of scale and the increase in technologies in the wind farm space makes this would increase the ROI in the future as more houses adapt to technology. Moving on to our sea change. Now, we will be estimating that we can pay $0.50 US per kg plastic to our volunteers who will collect these plastic, with a 0.5 also for process and manufacturing costs. We can make glass with that, and we estimate that we can make up to $3.5 per kilogram of this glass with a 200 profit margin, with a possible profit sharing with the sea change of 50 to 100%. This would also create a significant return on investment of 200 with one kilogram of plastic collected. Lastly, for a sustainable tourism platform, we estimate it would cost us $4,000 to create a platform with yearly maintenance of $120. With a 15% fee compared to typical 30% on other platforms, the average hotel night in Fiji is $192, which means we'd make 28.8. We'd break even after 800,000 bookings, which, as you see previously in our slides, is very easy to get with an increase of 1,314% of tourism this year. So we'll move on to our pest analysis.
Okay, so now on to the pest analysis. We'll be starting political with Hamida, Chief of Social and Political.
The political factors. There are no major political impacts. Fiji has a relative political stability. We can expect moderate help from global and local companies with compatible aims. No government aid is expected.
For economic, now Fiji has a GDP of 4.5 billion with 902,000. So GDP per capita would be around $5,000, which is one of the lowest. And we aim to increase that in our solutions, for example, with these CC partnership. It has very low inflation rates and low unemployment rates. As we mentioned earlier, the main revenue of Fiji is sugar farming and tourism.
The social factors. Fiji has a 0.7% population growth as of 2021. 0.438 is the overall population income distribution. The culture of Fiji has created a unique communal and national identity, renowned for being warm and welcoming.
Fiji is a small nation with fewer than 1 million residents. However, Fiji has made some technological advances among the Pacific Islands. Fiji has proven to have the strongest mobile and internet penetration. Fiji is actually at a higher risk of floods and natural disasters. It's even hypothesized with a 50% probability that by 2064, that there will be a natural disaster that will cause damages of 750 million and kill over 1,000 people. And as well as forest areas in Fiji actually take up approximately 62.4% of Fiji's land. So Fiji is a fairly safe and lawful country according to the World Bank. It is ranked number 2 for ease of doing business. There are no major legal impacts, and we make sure to follow all their laws.
So a quick summary, we talked about how we plan on expanding wind energy in Fiji with less tasks. We talked about life underwater with eliminating plastic pollution and actually creating industries, sustainable industries with sea change. And lastly, life on land. We offer sustainable tourism experiences on our own platform with Fiji Experience. So let's make Fiji the world's sustainable place together. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, SDG Artists. Our next team for today is 3 Sustainability from the International School of Creative Science. Team, please proceed to the stage with your presentation.
We worked really hard on our PowerPoint for the finals. Can you just go over it? Maybe if you like it.
Yeah, if you can send them.
We emailed it.
If you emailed it, I'll be happy to give feedback on it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
And
Thank
if you'd like, we
you.
can go over it. Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we please have Team 3 Sustainability from the International School of Creative Science on the stage, please?
Yeah.
No.
Judges, presenting Team 3 Sustainability from International School of Creative Science. All the best.
Hello everyone, I'm Hassan and I'm going to start with the problems that we currently face before we go on to the solutions to solve those problems. So the company we're going to be talking about is Hindustan Unilever. Hindustan Unilever, and in specific is going to be their brand, the Vegetarian Butcher. They produce plant-based meat, but it's not currently been, introduced into India, which is the country of concern. So the problem I'm going to start with is that currently many people eat meat as a part of their diets, especially beef. However, what they don't know is that this meat can be quite deadly to us, somewhat health-wise because of all the hormones injected into them, but more importantly, it's bad for the environment. So meat from animals like cows is especially bad for the environment, as cows release methane. You guys know it's a greenhouse gas, as well as in the production phases of meat, agriculture plays an important part where things like artificial fertilizer release nitrous oxide in the production of cattle feed, taking an important part again in climate change. Other factors like land use change also worsen the effects of emissions of greenhouse gases by meat production. So moreover, there's also that with increasing demand for meat, there's also an increase in deforestation. And due to that, it causes soil erosion of topsoil, which is again also caused by water. So, deforestation occurs for more pasture land, and in this pasture land, nitrogen fertilizers are used, releasing nitrous oxide, as well as the cows releasing methane, and more importantly, deforestation decreasing amount of oxygen converted into CO2. The fertilizers added into cattle feed, as well as the manure produced from the cows, and finally the grazing in the pasture land can all be washed away by rainfall or flooding. We already know how the climate change is affecting in places like India and Pakistan, and therefore flooding, it's happening. This causes the polluted water to run off into streams and rivers, thus causing algae bloom, which then causes death of aquatic animals due to oxygen in water. You know how the bacteria fight for oxygen? And looking now to the idea, how are we going to solve it?
Unilever is a major seller in India, thus also having a big reputation as well as trust from its customers. Our solution will aim at advertising Unilever's brand, the Vegetarian Butcher, in India to implement and increase the use of plant-based meats in India, while simultaneously decreasing the use of normal meats, especially cow meats, which is a topic. Sorry. Unilever will also try and educate the public on harms of consuming cow meat through means like advertisement on TV. Many people in India respect cows greatly and would carry on Unilever message to reduce slaughtering of cows, as well as perhaps put pressure on the government to introduce taxes on beef production, especially since India is the third biggest beef exporter. Naturally, India happens to affect climate change a great deal, as much as with beef. Which could also pull in environmentally concerned people to go against slaughtering of cows.
And to add to that as well, our solution is mainly based on targeting consumer behavior. As we all know, economics is a study of consumer behavior. All economic decisions are made based on what consumers receive, what consumers think, what consumers believe. We therefore target advertising our product, Unilever's product, in a way that consumers will be motivated to switch to it. In this case, our plant-based meats.
Moreover, since the Indian diets are very fancy, many foods contain beef, mostly in diets of those who can afford it. If the marketing of plant-based meats is done ideally, a high proportion of people would switch to the plant-based ones, thus reducing demand of beef. A decrease in demand will cause equilibrium prices to fall, quantity supplied will decrease. Another aspect of our solution could be that reducing Unilever's cost in this process is the farming of soybeans. Why are soybeans important? We know that soybeans are the main plant-based meals produced by the vegetarian butcher. Using soybeans as the main component means that Unilever would require high amounts of soybeans farms. What's interesting is that the planting of soybeans increases nitrogen levels of soil, leading to soil erosion.
This is an excellent practice of sustainable farming, reducing use of outside nitrogen fertilizer. Wheat is another major part of Indian diets in the form of bread, or more like roti. So Unilever can partner with wheat farms in India to plant soybeans alongside them. Soybeans will reduce the need of nitrogen fertilizers, thus reducing costs of farming and decreasing soybeans price, meaning Unilever can buy these soybeans for cheaper, and since they'll be buying in bulk, they'll benefit from economies of scale, which will further reduce costs for Unilever. This is an important as rising costs due to advertising need to be controlled, and this is an excellent method in addressing SDGs 13, 14, and 15. Finally, our solution will aim at increasing the use of biomass as a use of component for the cleaning products they produce in their other brands. Unilever can obtain this biomass for the production of soybeans in the form of agricultural waste, plants, and etc. Unilever's main brands are of producing cleaning products, detergents, comfort, etc., which can now use the biomass in the production of these products.
Yes, for finance, I found a cost analysis table from the internet, and here we're only going to be looking at the expected results of 22. Okay, so Lewis Bollard estimates that beyond, so we're basically looking at the production cost of Beyond Meat, and then we're going to be, I guess, using it as an estimate for how much Unilever have to pay. Okay, so we calculated that there'll be 1,141 rupees per 2 kg minced meat. Okay, so now we need to find the total cost, which will just be their costs right now in 2022 plus the extra marketing they'll be doing plus the production of meat costs. Since they have 50 product brands, we can divide the marketing cost by 50 and then find per brand and then add that to the total. So that's what we did there. And then to cost to produce meat, we just times. Okay, so it's important to know that we're trying to sell 5 million products in the year, so we can make sure that Unilever will produce more profits than they currently were. So if we times the price per pack times 5 million, we can find for the total production added, and we get the total cost. For revenue, we're going to be adding a 10% markup to the cost to find the selling price. And then again, times 5 million to find the revenue, and we added it to the revenue. So the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization has increased, as you can see, from 12,698 to 12,718, and that's for finance. So next now.
Going on to the best analysis. So in our financial sheet, we just discussed all of this. Now, it's important to mention that as our solution has many positive environmental impacts, it's likely to be supported by the government. Unilever will therefore be able to reach many tax reduction agreements on plant-based meats, such as no mince. As per the law of demand, which states that if the price falls, demand will obviously increase. This shows that the politics will hopefully increase, drive our solution. Economic impacts, as I mentioned before as well, a decent population of India lives in poverty. This will constrain us. The poverty is so high, they cannot afford normal meat, and we're going to ask them to buy the plant-based meats. This could reduce Unilever sales of plant-based meats. However, a great population of India can afford our plant-based meats. Therefore, Unilever will rely on retaining those customers, customer loyalty. We all know about customer loyalty. If we retain these customers, we will be able to survive. Unilever will be able to keep making profits, keep surviving through the repeated purchase of their products. Social impacts, again, I mentioned in the beginning, economics is a study of consumer behavior. We will target at making deals with famous Indian personalities, like if anyone knows Virat Kohli, he's a famous Indian cricketer. His wife is a famous vegan activist. Making deals with such people will influence the general people's idea of plant-based meats. As they see their celebrities, the people they love, buy it more, consume it more, they will also be motivated to buy it more. Going on to the environmental impacts, we actually think that despite the current environmental conditions being so bad, this should drive our solution. As in the area we have noticed in the region in Pakistan, which is near India, there has been many disasters lately. This should motivate people, it should act as a warning to them that they should change their consuming habits in order to stop this. And this will again drive the government to reduce taxes on meat products, on plant-based products, and place tariffs on meat imports, as well as placing taxes on all meat products. Thank you. Last thing, legal, the government again will also reduce their taxes on our plant-based products, and they will place tariffs, as we mentioned. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that this has been an informative evening for you all, and we're proud to be here. Thank you.
Team 3 Sustainability. All right, our next team today is Team Mission Possible from Dubai International Academy, Emirates Hills. Team, please proceed to the stage to set up your presentation.
Hi. I'm actually from the game activation. Yes. I actually want to review. Oh, yeah. Okay. The problem is we didn't make notes. We just did scoring. So we
What
have
did
to.
he talk about?
Wow.
Judges, I'd like to present the next team.
Yeah, I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Just. My phone's on.
That's because 3 people are using your
Judges, presenting our next team to you, Team Mission Possible from Dubai International Academy, Emirates Hills. All the best.
Okay, so we chose to do Shein. Shein, however you want to pronounce it. Shein is an e-commerce B2C fast fashion brand of Chinese origin, emphasis on fast fashion. Shein made a gross merchandise value of more than $16 billion in the first half of 2022, which was their whole year revenue for 2021. It is estimated that they will cross $30 billion with a revenue of $24 billion. Clearly, they are growing tremendously year by year. selling products at extremely low prices, launching hundreds of new styles every day, and responding to market trends has given Shein the ability to compete with brands like H&M and Zara. However, their ethics and approach to sustainability are nowhere near these brands.
The fashion industry as a whole has caused a lot of issues environmentally. Looking at all 3 SDGs that we have been asked to focus on, life below water, life on land, and climate action. The common theme between all 3 is pollution, whether it be waste pollution, air pollution, light, noise. Suffice it to say, it is a huge issue. We chose to focus on waste pollution. If you ask how widespread waste pollution is in the fashion industry, the short answer is tremendously. But the long answer are the facts that I will now throw at you to give you a perspective. 92 million tons of textile waste is generated every year by the fashion industry. The average US citizen throws away 70 pounds or about 31 kgs of clothing and textiles. Shein already ranks extremely low in terms of the quality of the clothing to what they do or don't do for the environment. They use polyester, which is the king of synthetic materials or man-made materials. Polyester is a byproduct of the oil and energy industry and a huge contributor to waste pollution. 95.2% of Shein's clothing is made of polyester. Let that sink in. Polyester sheds microplastics that are harmful for the environment, and when they go into the ocean and in landfills and animals mistake it for food, it is harmful to them. Sea animals may get endangered due to this, and eventually those sea animals are consumed by us humans. So it's harmful to us as well. Now, polyester is recyclable, but it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, for companies and brands to do so. Shein's mass production and poor quality of clothing accelerates and grows throwaway culture. Dead stock will also eventually be thrown away into landfills, and the chemical poisons our soil. Waste pollution from the fashion industry, and especially fast fashion brands like Shein, is harming the environment severely. We underestimate just how much fashion negatively impacts our surroundings, and we need to solve this. We propose a solution that won't be a lot of hard work for Shein. Again, Shein's clothing isn't the type that one keeps in stores for a long period of time, especially with how cheap they are. That's how they've grown so big, so to propose a solution that costs them a lot of money does not make sense. Instead of recycling, we propose reusing. Thrifting and secondhand usage is extremely important to reduce wastage of garments. We suggest that Shein resell those garments at a lower price. If you've ever had an account on Shein, you know that they have a point system on their app. Every day that a user opens the app, they get 1 point, 3 points, or 5 points. On every order, depending on the size and value of the order, they get points. Users can redeem these points and get discounts on their orders. To make the solution successful, consumer support is extremely vital. Shein can give consumers a time limit like 4 months on their order, and they can return any product in good condition to Shein in exchange for cheap points. This way, consumers get an incentive to participate in this solution. A single consumer may not be mindful of the garments they own. However, a huge company like Shein can make a change. There are people out there who don't have access to clothing like we do, and lower prices will help people all over the world access clothing. Reselling gives consumers cheaper alternatives based on their affordability. Ultimately, whatever is not sold can also be donated. Shein can partner with donation charities and donate and thrift clothing to reduce clothing wastage. The only cost that Shein will essentially incur is transportation, for which they already pay for returns. For donation transportation, Shein can coordinate with the charities that they donate with and split transportation costs. This solution increases the life cycle of clothing that we wear, instead of throwing it away after wearing it only 5 to 10 times. And a survey has shown that people consider clothing old after only wearing it 7 to 10 times and throw it away, which, to be honest, is very less. We wear our clothes every day, and it's no point in buying new clothes all the time. Proposing that Shein completely switch raw materials or production methods changes the entire company's business strategy and the core of who they are, an extremely affordable, fast fashion brand. which is why we suggest this. Feasible, cheap, yet a step toward the right direction.
Financial plan. So they only incur two costs, which would be transportation and reward points. Now the transportation would be, whether it's donation or returns, it's an estimated amount of 5 billion per year, which is only half of their amount of sales. So they would still not go in a loss. Reward points. 1 point is equal to $0.05. Now, one piece of clothing gives you 5 points, but the cost for 1 point is way less than the amount that Shein earns through one order, which is why they can easily regain the money spent on reward points. Revenue. Reselling products that they have already gained profits from once. After an estimated sales of 5 billion, Shein should be able to gain an additional 1.25 billion, which is 1/4 of their sales. Pastel. Political analysis. Keeping COVID-19 in mind, we wanted to create an idea that does not require government subsidies of any sort. Secondly, the government may not see textile pollution as big of an issue in front of other things happening right now. Economic analysis. With the downturn in salaries and wages after the pandemic, the purchasing ability of consumers have also been reduced. This is why the clothing that will be resold is cheaper. This gives low-income consumers a chance to buy clothes as well without paying a high price. Social analysis. Money holds great power and motivation. By receiving points from the clothes that they have given back, consumers will be encouraged to buy more as they have an option of buying fresh and getting points when returning them. Because of this initiative, consumers will also understand just how much harm their actions toward their garments are causing and will encourage them to be more mindful.
Technology. Technology is a huge part of how this solution will work, and unfortunately, Shein already has a reward system for now. We'll be using their existing point system, because of which there will be no additional platform development costs. Legal. One of the few aspects to this would be laws implemented in different countries regarding second-hand selling, and to the extent to which thrifting is allowed and ethical. Environmental. In terms of the environment, our entire goal is to reduce clothing waste. Our plan does not require any additional energy source to resell. However, the transportation required during returns and donations will also cause pollution to some extent, but not as much as Shein currently does through their clothing.
My name is Tiasha.
My name is Nanabella.
And my name is Rudy Jachinani.
We are Mission Possible. Thank you so much for listening to us today.
Thank you, Team Mission Possible. Our next team for today is Team Greenwashers from GEMS Wellington Silicon Oasis. Team, please proceed to the stage with your USB.
Okay, let's see if we can. Try refreshing.
Judges, presenting the next team to you, we have Team Greenwashers from James Wellington, Silicon Oil. All the best.
Good afternoon, Ms. Ajita, Mr. Dan, and Ms. Shahar. We are WSO's Greenwashers, and this is our idea.
The American fast food corporation, Yum! Brands, is a successful corporation that owns a few of the world's biggest fast food chains, including KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. This is our chosen organization that we believe could make a notable impact positively on the environment should we address SDGs 13, 14, and 15. But how might they do this? First of all, these chains are known for their use of palm oil in large quantities. The effect of this is that in order to source this palm oil, there is a lot of deforestation involved. This deforestation is directly linked to all of the mentioned SDGs in the following ways. Fewer trees simply means less absorption of carbon dioxide, one of the major greenhouse gases, resulting in more of this thickening the atmosphere and allowing more infrared rays to radiate the Earth's surface, causing climate change. What also happens with this carbon dioxide is that amounts of it are absorbed within the oceans, thus raising their pH levels and creating a more acidic environment for the sea life, and potentially killing them. Finally, not only is climate change one of, if not the most threatening risks to life on Earth, deforestation is also destroying the habitat of many species, and in some cases leading to their extinction.
This is why we strongly believe that Yum! Brands should consider sourcing their cooking oil from better alternatives, such as rapeseed oil, which has been shown to emit next to no greenhouse gases and has little effect on the environment. Another benefit for rapeseed oil is that it has it's flavorless, meaning that customers should not notice much of the difference when they taste of their food. Lastly, another approach to reducing their carbon footprint should be introducing more and more vegan substitutes to the menu. Perhaps encouraging / opening the eyes of customers to sustainable replacements. Therefore, less meat need to be sourced if the popularity of meat-free meals increased, resulting in less need for farm livestock. This could reduce greenhouse gases again, as approximately 14.5% of greenhouse gases are caused by this.
Feasibility. How feasible is this idea? Yum! Brands owns very well-known global chains, which means their intentions will be well received with a lot of customers around the world, as the want for an eco-friendly society grows. It is important to keep up with customer wants. Therefore, switching to palm oil to a more sustainable cooking oil, such as rapeseed oil, is good, as this will please customers and make them more likely to purchase the product, even if the final product costs more. As studies show that later generations are 32% more likely and willing to spend extra 10% on sustainable products due to the rising costs. The prices will also increase. This means that the percentage markup for these products will also increase. Yum! Could charge a 7% increase for their products, even though the change from palm oil would not raise the price significantly, and the company will not have to keep investing capital in this, as they will continue to make the same or just slightly lower profit, therefore making it financially feasible for the company to go with this idea as it will become self-sustaining. Financial plan. In 2011, KFC used high oleic rapeseed oil instead of palm oil for 1 month in 800 outlets across Ireland and the UK. This resulted in an extra cost of $1 million. Scaling this up to its current amount of outlets, KFC would be looking at an extra cost of $66.25 million for its 53,000 outlets across the world. For Taco Bell, however, it isn't as easy. There are no records online for the amount of oil that Taco Bell uses in its products and the types of oil. Online sources say everything from coconut, sunflower, or canola oil. However, Pizza Hut is more straightforward. They state we have removed 99% of palm oil from our products up to date, but pizzas weren't really fried. Finally, the Habit Burger, Yum's other brand, which uses soy oil. In conclusion, it is very hard to state how much an operation such as switching oils could cost. It seems that all the oils aren't hard to get or have supply or other cost issues, so they should be an easy switch. This leaves us very open on the cost. We can estimate KFC using their 2011 experiment, which obviously wouldn't be comparable to today, but Taco Bell is the real issue here, as it doesn't give any details on their website. All we really know is that rapeseed oil currently costs 38.7% more than
ability to make money, a way for young brands to generate and raise finance by choosing this type of oil would be that they could start a trend of companies using rapeseed oil. This would be because young brands would be one of the first major food companies using this type of oil. And if this is successful, it would lead to other companies also following the young brands' footsteps to reduce the number of greenhouse gases produced, because these companies' target markets are starting to become more health and environmentally conscious, and they are looking for more healthy and green products. Therefore, before other brands adopt this method, young brands could already be manufacturing and supplying this product to other companies, as they already have a large amount of capital and finance to invest. For example, young brands could hire employees and train on how to manufacture and create rapeseed oil. And then they could produce enough to satisfy the business's needs, as well as producing more to sell to other companies and help to maintain a positive cash flow, which is vital for a business's survival. To prevent the business from failing, they could launch this product within a specific region and assess how it performs without informing the consumers of the change in oil to prevent conformity.
Possible analysis. Political impact. Political issues have arisen in the past regarding the extraction of palm oil from the land and the methods used to strip and extract these oils. For example, famous companies such as Nestle and Colgate have been noted for their use of child labor to extract and source this palm oil. Indonesia is the world's biggest palm oil producer, and yet there are political issues about how the land is being stripped to extract it. This is a bad thing for young brands' image to have fast food chains located in Indonesia that are using palm oil. So the transition would be doing them a favor. Economic impact. The price of cooking oil varies, especially depending on how and where it is sourced. For example, more organic, sustainable oils are a lot more expensive to source and used in high quantities than palm oil. Meat-based products have shown a continuous rise in price to the extent that vegan meat alternatives are often no more as expensive. This means that the business will not have extreme additional costs, and customers will be more likely interested in these products. Social impact. In recent years, humans have been increasingly health conscious, meaning that the introduction of healthier cooking oils over palm oil might bring a larger customer range to the fast food industry. As well as health conscious, studies show that modern generations are thinking more sustainably and about how to keep the environment in their minds while purchasing. Reducing palm oil and therefore deforestation will paint a good impression of the company.
Technological impact. Technological advances in machinery such as oil extractors make extracting natural oils that can produce cooking a lot simpler. Social media is an element of tech that billions of people spend time on each day. It is continuously improving, so promotion of reducing climate change can be seen all over the world. Environmental impact. Although it may not seem like a lot, palm oil extraction is responsible for 2% of global deforestation. Deforestation on the whole significantly contributes to global warming and threatens all life on the planet. Considering how worldwide young brands are, this idea could make a big difference. Looking at the large scale perspective, if non-meat products were to rise in popularity around the world through these fast food chains, their demand could increase, while the demand for meat-based products could decrease. This will result in less animal brutality and can also decrease the excess greenhouse gases produced. Legal impact. Legislation such as Forest Ag Bill prohibits agricultural commodities, of which palm oil is concerned.
Thank you for listening. We are WSO's Greenwashers, and this was our idea.
Thank you, Team Greenwashers. Our next and final case solution for today is Team ACES from GEMS Oral English High School, Dubai. Team, please proceed to the podium with your presentation. Thank you.
Publications to go into scholarly journals.
Judges, presenting our final solution for today, Team ACES from GEMS Oral English High School, Dubai. All the best.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Varsha Muralidharan, and we will be presenting our final case.
Who here looks at ethical practices of a business when you're buying shares in the stock market? Can I have a show of hands? Great. The financial statements of some firms are designed to hide rather than reveal information. It is crucial for publicly traded companies to be transparent for the proper functioning of the capital market. Less information means less certainty for investors. This information is in terms of sustainability. It helps the investor know whether the company is ethically trading or not.
Recent studies suggest that publicly traded companies are responsible for roughly twice as much carbon dioxide as previously estimated.
The company we've chosen is called SENT. Our aim is to transform the economy to build a just and sustainable future for people and the planet. We're educating and engaging regulators, financial institutions, investors, and other capital market influencers to act on the climate crisis as a systemic financial risk.
Imagine a world where you as an investor can make investments based on the sustainable practices of the company you wish to invest in. Imagine a world where you can access the data of major publicly listed companies and thus make more sustainable choices. Potential and scope. The way corporations work and operate has completely changed over the course of the past 2 years. As we slowly enter a post-pandemic world and as markets reopen, investors have been more considerate about the environment and how to act in a conducive manner to reduce the impact that evil practices have led to. We live in a world that is slowly being taken over by technology. Everything, everywhere, has either become converted to or integrated with technology. Technological advancements have transferred the world into a digital one. It is our aim to make the world a smarter place to live with our specialized software. In the last couple of years, integrated websites using the Internet of Things have gained a lot of popularity due to the advancements of AI and ML. Our app Investor, it allows investors globally to be able to access data that is free from window dressing and reveal the sustainability of the company they are planning to invest in. Our app would help potential investors to invest in those companies that are ethical and environmentally friendly in the capital market. Our app is built on a grading system, and companies depending on their sustainable practices will be graded from green to orange to red.
Our app helps investors who are passionate about saving the earth one small investment at a time. Our app is extremely user-friendly UI. Our app would also actively promote the trading of green stocks. Green stocks that are shares of the company which are environmentally friendly. Major MNCs and small businesses can submit their data. We will be addressing SDG 13, which aims at combating climate change and its impacts. Our main features will include Providing transparent data. Our job is to consolidate this data and categorize based on how environmentally friendly they are. Second, consultancy to investors depending on their trading habits. Third, promoting the trade of green stocks to raise awareness on companies that leave behind a large carbon footprint but go unnoticed because of the amount of profit that they create. Fourth, user-friendly app design. This enables investors both young and old to use our app and trade in stock market.
So how does feasibility work? Our app, Investor, is the future of modern investing, and we offer assistance and efficiency in environmentally concise investments to make the right decisions. In the initial stages, we were bootstrapping, and later stages, we started taking loans from banks in order to expand our business. Currently, we are looking at trading in the stock market as edited in a green company, and we also trade in green stocks. We estimate around $700,000, which we need as investment to expand our business. We were also willing to give up 15% stake in equity to our investors. The pricing per product is based on the penetration pricing policy, and the service cost ranges from $35 for small businesses to $49 for the investors. We have considered all the factors that would affect pricing, including market demand, market competition, and the government policies.
Our package plan. Both of our package plan offers a 30-day free trial. Our first package is offered for $35 for consultancy and where and how to invest in pay. Our second package is offered for a price of $49, where we give them consultancy and tell them where and how to invest, along with an in-depth report. Our target market. Our app aims to help mindful investors and young investors who wish to make a positive impact on the environment. We also target environmental activists. We aim to target this market through social media, business magazines, and PR campaigns. This method is effective to influence people from the ages 25 to 40. Through business newspapers, we plan on influencing people above the age of 55 or people who don't use social media at all. Active investors are always on the lookout for companies and businesses to invest in. So business magazines and newspapers are a perfect source to inform them about our app.
The pestle analysis. Political environment. The political environment caters to the global market. Since it's a cloud-based system, we do not necessarily need to comply with the internet and media laws. Economic environment. We use up only about 5% of our profits for our operations. We will be making a profit of about $2 million in our first year in the market. Social environment. Because of the increasing demand for more sustainable businesses and their initiatives, social factors have only been a driving force for our business.
Technological environment. There have been various technological advancements in the digital world. These changes have positively impacted our app development. Our app is easily accessible through the Internet of Things and wearable devices like smartwatches. This not only helps the customers. Environmental. As we are promoting more sustainable investments and trading in green stocks, we are environmentally responsible. Legal environment. Our business has good legal footing and aligns with the policies of countries that it operates in. The Corporate Transparency Act will be reinforced with our app.
We're expecting to reach our GDP within 3 to 4 years of operation. ROI is expected to multiply 5 times in the next 6 to 7 years. We feel that these numbers are justified as technological companies take a bit of time to gain a strong foothold in the market.
Thank you for your time.
Well done, teams. We have now concluded the grand finale of the Business Cup Challenge 2022. We shall now proceed to take a 15-minute short break to reconvene with the judges and be back with the winning team's names. Back in 15 minutes. So it's 1:28, almost 1:30. So everyone should be back by 1:45. Thank you so much and all the best.
tayo.
I didn't realize it's this is her mom. I've never seen her. She could be any random answer. I want my mom.
Mag-hello rin tayo.
My parents ran away.
Our friend is smart.
Like that. He's gonna be I don't know his age. He's just a quiet kid.
Tough task. I mean, that's fine. Feasibility. That's fine. So, exactly. Yeah, this was in Indonesia.
Actually, to do it has a cost, but bring a lot of information in that way. No, just give it. Just the same.
So can you really just in 1, 2, 3 order? If you could do the same thing and we compare.
Somehow.
Why am I not able to enter my question?
No, it's one.
Okay. So this is. So straightforward. Also, but okay, so they came out in our combined total. They came out as the first. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the second place, okay, so you had the second. You had it as first. And my second was number.
Oh, that was also the last one.
The last one.
The last one.
The second question.
Last one. When it comes to this one,
Yeah, but between like young brands.
the second one, right?
Young brands are like
Yeah, young
Yeah, somebody.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so we'll make that as 2, and then 3. Oh. Two is already.
What's the 3? What was our
This is for
Yeah.
So we just need to.
Second is someone younger.
I think that because that would be a worldwide.
Yeah.
And that was one thing.
And he also said for such a nowadays we are very into healthy eating, so that we would actually fulfill that.
And if a company like Lumber is actually like palm free, most other companies would be forced to.
Yeah, but and then they also show that they can come. It's not available.
Oh, with the attack of the
KFC is basically still not up to percent on KFC. So that's it.
Okay, so let's. Okay. It's easier for some.
Yeah, because our grades doesn't match, so we just come into a common ground.
This is also just a reminder.
We have to find an innovative idea as well.
Yes. So think about.
From the elevator pitch or this one?
From this.
Wait. Imagine
Makeup would be
Nothing. It was just a way to make
Sorry to interrupt, but is there any chance like we could send our presentation to you and you can give us like a video?
Yeah, if you send to the same BCC address you mentioned for submission to the written.
Yes, because my team also feel like our presentation would be on par with the presentations out there.
Yeah.
So if we could like present it out there, but if that's not all okay, I'm pretty sure we can just send it.
Yeah, just send it to me and I'll be happy to feedback.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good day, sir.
Okay, so.
Daniel, want to give
They deserve it. If they were doing it,
that was Tesla. No. Oh, yeah, it's been yeah, that's
It's a combination, that's what. And also.
I feel
I don't know. This guy is far away. Why is he upright?
That's the combination. The combination. Lower iron oxide. Make use of iron oxide.
good one. Good. Yeah, not very easy.
It's wonderful to see you. I said, thank you for doing this. Yeah, let's do it today. Yeah, it was a good combination.
Yeah, and that.
Okay, that was, I'm so she.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
You need to recycle?
Not yet.
We fixed the temperature, no warm now.
11.
I'll be back.
I'm not holding your hand. You are pressed
I have three of you. Yeah. That's what is better to do. Because I will ask my kids. Yeah, another thing, the farm boy
There are no ways.
I had no, and then when they tell me that this program, and English, I did a lot of English. And one of these, the most recent was website. Most recent was website. Nothing. I just wanted to congratulate you. What was your idea?
Others for like 3 technologies in one, and it's like so costly. And then they said the budget was 1.5 million. That was like, how is that?
Some of them were so sweet. I asked, actually gave me this idea. Like, she asked them exactly what they want to do. I thought they would do it. I actually agreed to do it earlier without me like pushing.
The idea is
Thank God. It was 7. I was like, my brain would be so bright. I don't know what to say was good. Because I had both the CT classes.
Yes. Oh, okay. That's good. I'm from Canada. Yeah, well, I think each of these would focus Canada.
I have some Canada friends. I went to I studied yours.
Not using moringa leaves. Moringa leaves is usually go through
Actually, for the green tea.
yeah, it's not me. It's a different. So actually, moringa leaves that actually do more whenever you are So I was most other companies they use silver nanoxide because it's metals and yeah, exactly. So I studied CK, but we are a general students, no connection with science whatsoever. But we came across the effort to understand the science base.
We should be. You're right. I mean, many machines can that so much practice and fine antibacterial and antibacterial food. But I used to be an engineer. That's sort of where I understand your
like not presenting
I did not know about this.
Oh, and give like we actually knew about it from the
last year as well, right? We actually studied your video too. We analyzed your points.
We're trying to go to international. I mean, it's Google Labs and Comedy. So we can use it. I don't have that. So you're from the same university?
yes. If we focus on like law, for example, then it will be like more of an emphasis on using the system. There's been also we would not like to try to announce the high school winners, but it's like we're already on stage now. Yeah. Now like right now. We can have a break. They can't let us.
This is
But I mean, your university edition class, I can also bit about the price. No, she's feminine. Yeah.
Very. I don't know.
We have 9 subjects, 11 subjects this year. Any university, 11 subjects you have seen?
Yeah, we have like arts and subjects.
The thing with Amrit,
and it's just the reason pressure comes to us because each subject will have their own assignments, 3 compulsory assignments, 3 presentations.
And right now,
this week I have got 4 assignments.
Right now,
I do want this year though. There is no ranking.
The other subject.
How much the topic?
by avocado.
I have a course for international relations. Other companies. At one body.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
She is the best one to tell your frustrations.
Because they want to make money.
I've been
I would like to, I'm just gonna directly say I would like to, and the two announced university edition winners. then you actually announce it. I don't need to say I think this better. Oh no, wait. It's like name. Hi, sorry. Okay, so basically, the stance comes. Okay. I'll call all three of you. Everyone announce then
Do you want to
So I'll call all of them and then you guys can put towards the or send me.
I don't know. Do you want me to?
It's just a tab to my palette here on take it back. Second, first runner up, I had a student, I was like, yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, they were like, hey, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Yes. Yeah. So they were just talking and giving them the stuff and all. They knew what's going on, and the others like, very lost in private. A lot of new stuff. My school, they didn't get past the elevator. What I'll do is I'll keep the portfolio right. Only one into a title.
Right.
Am I just the one?
Everyone, please be seated. Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure you're eager to know what the announcement is all about. Now, we have the winners' details with us. So, without any further ado, I'd like to call on Mr. Daniel Atkins to announce the winners of the University Edition of
Okay, so I want to announce the winners of the University Edition. Unlike the high school edition where you did 3 cases and then had the finals, they did 1 case and then had the finals. And so those of you who did the high school edition, you can congratulate yourself. You actually had to come through a much more difficult challenge. I was really impressed with the University Edition finals. I was in Ghana at the time and actually zoomed in and was able to help with the judging from there. And the university teams did an exceptional job, especially given that they'd only had 1 example of how we did marking before they got into the finals. So without further ado, we would like to recognize the 2nd runner-up of the University Edition, Team Athena from the University of Dubai. Okay, the first runner-up is Team Luminary from Amity University. Okay, and then the winner of the university event was Team Sustainable Prodigies from Curtin University, Dubai. So in addition to the medals and trophies, the winning team will be receiving scholarships from Curtin University for their postgraduate studies when they continue on with their masters. Okay, so now we would like to announce the winners from today's competition. Now, we have a very special category. Our sponsor, AtLab, has sponsored a prize for the most innovative idea of the day. And this is regardless of where the team placed in the overall rankings. So we would like to congratulate SDG Oryxes. If we could have Associate Professor Ron Sullivan come up representing AtLab to present the prize.
The phone.
Okay, so in addition to having sponsored the prize for the most innovative, AtLab has also given a cash prize for the top 3 finishers. So the second place team, second runner-up, is going to receive 1,000 dirhams. The first runner-up will receive 2,000 dirhams, and the winners will receive 3,000 dirhams as a team. So thank you to AtLab for being so gracious in sponsoring those prizes. Okay, so now what we've all been waiting for, the second runner-up in today's competition. Sorry, you just sat back down. You're going to have to come back up. SDG Oryxes.
I don't need to know about it anymore.
Request Ms. Shahara and Ms. Jeeta to join us on stage in giving out trophies and medals.
Okay, so while our esteemed judging panel is coming up, we will announce the first runner-up. Green Washers from James Wellington, Silicon Oasis. Okay, now the moment everybody has been waiting for. The winner of this year's BCC 2022 Cup is FEPS.
Thank you, Ms. Dan. Thank you, Ms. Shahara and Ms. Jeeta. I would now like to once again call on stage all our winners from the high school and university edition to join us for a group picture. Winners from the university and high school edition, please join us on stage for a group picture with the judges. Guys, a little more energy.